Good morning, brethren. Welcome to another daily devotional. Let me read to you just verses 4 and 5 of 1 Corinthians 13. We're thinking about the qualities of love. Love is patient and kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. We've already looked at some of these: love being patient, love being kind, love not being envious, and not boasting. Our last daily devotional was all about boasting. Today we're thinking about the next phrase: it is not arrogant. The root of boasting is arrogance. That is what boasting springs from. Love, Paul tells us, is not arrogant. The original word here means to be puffed up. That's why, for example, in the King James translation, that's the way it's given. It is not puffed up. It means to inflate. This is an ugly trait of puffing oneself up and overestimating or flaunting one's self. This was something that was clearly going on in the church in Corinth. In fact, if you read through the letter of 1 Corinthians, you'll find that twice in chapter 4, once in chapter 5, and again in chapter 8, Paul has to reprimand these Christians for their attitude of arrogance. How much behaviour among believers and even among ministers is actually attention-seeking. Behaviour that is designed to impress others with one's own supposed gifts and one's own supposed importance. We're not, brethren, to be arrogant. Whatever we have by the grace of God. Paul recognised that. I am what I am by the grace of God. And arrogance is the opposite of humility. And time again in the Bible, we are called to humility. Love doesn't show its arrogance. There's a story told about Napoleon. He always advocated the sanctity of the home and the obligation of public worship, but only for other people. He said, "I am not a man like other men. The laws of morality do not apply to me." Really great men never think of their own importance or how great they are. You know of William Carey, the Christian missionary to India. He began his life as a cobbler, and yet he was one of the greatest missionaries and certainly one of, if not perhaps the greatest linguist the world has ever seen. Carey translated parts of the Bible into no fewer than 34 Indian languages. When he came to India, he was regarded with dislike and contempt, and at a dinner to which he was invited, a person who was there who was rather a snob, he decided he would try and humiliate Carey. And he said to him, "I suppose, Mr. Carey, you once worked as a shoemaker." "No, your lordship," said Carey, "not a shoemaker, only a cobbler." Carey didn't even claim to make shoes, only to mend them. He was a man who would not be arrogant in any way. And brethren, that's what love is. It's not arrogant. It doesn't seek to put itself forward and to get the approval of others. Let us, as Christians, seek by God's grace not only not to boast, but not to have that arrogance of heart from which boasting springs. Love does not boast. Love is not arrogant. May God help us in this as in every other area. Have a good day, folks.